Fascinating Voices. I'm back with another video. This video is going to be about how we are the 4 elements, technically 5, but we'll get into why technically 5 in a bit. But I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Grand Rising, and let's get into it. So this is my personal opinion on the matter. I had just been thinking about how we were everything in existence, how we were combined with every single thing we see around us. And you know, I was smoking while pondering on that, and I was just like, how are we everything? And suddenly it just like hit me. So our body are made out of minerals that would be of the earth. You could apply the minerals to the earth. So that's one element we are of. If you look at the skin holds salt. The skin holds oils that is from the earth. The skin absorbs oils and minerals as well. So you would have to be an earth being to be able to take in minerals and things like that to be able to survive and, you know, have that kind of symbiotic relationship with the earth. And then now we're moving on to our next element. So fire. We are also fire beings as well, because we have electricity. Electricity is fire. When we send thoughts to our brain, when we think, when we move, our body starting from our brain fires off neurons, which are just little electrical impulses to transfer this thought into an action. So just by me doing all this, my brain is firing off signals for me to, for my brain to move my arm a certain way, or to move my lips, or to move my tongue a certain way, to be able to do this action. That requires electricity, that requires impulses, that requires a certain amount of energy, a charge, to be able to move different ways, to speak different ways. And then air. We are air-based beings as well, because breath, we breathe constantly in and out, and that the air coming from in and from our bodies, that's a form of air bending. This is why we're the elemental beings, because we have all these properties that we use naturally just within our body, and we don't even know it. You know, and just especially just by breathing back and forth, learning how to control that breath. You can control air, because you have to control how you breathe. Breathing into too much is too much on your lungs, but breathing in too little is not enough for your lungs. So it requires this balance. Your lungs require this balance for you to function, for you to speak, for you to move. As well as you need oxygen in the brain. So it's just like, you know, all these factors going into this thing. And on to our next element, water. We are water-based being, because 70 to 75, or actually 78% of our bodies is made up of water. We are water-based beings. We cry water. We have to drink water. Our body needs water. There's water all around us. The air that we breathe has water in it. So that's also a form of us water bending, because we have this water, this blood moving through our body. That's what helps us tap into all these different elements, is because our body uses all these different things. Even though it's natural to our bodies, it uses all these different things to survive. It's used all these elements to survive, and it's compacted them into one single life form, which is our vessels. Excuse me. And the last one is ether, or spirit, as you would say, is the 5th element. Spirit and ether is considered an element because it's something that animates an organism. Your spirit animates your vessel. Without a spirit, you cannot move your body. Without spirit, you cannot function as a being on this plane or any other plane. You need a spirit. You need essence. You need a conscience to be able to move, to be able to animate yourself. And that's also a form of bending. Spirit bending is the soul moving through the vessel to produce movement, to produce action, to produce the natural bodily functions. And you know, after I had thought about all this, it just came full circle. I was like, that makes sense of how we're even able to converse with elements, how we're even able to command elements, because you cannot control them. Nature cannot be controlled. An element can only be commanded by someone who is in harmony, balance with these elements. So you just can't be like, oh yeah, since I got blood in my body, I can be able to control it. No, it's not like that. You can't. You have to respect these elements. Just like you want to be respected, this whole vessel wants to be respected, this consciousness wants to be respected, these elements want to be respected as well. You can't just jump into something and be like, oh yeah, I can do that because, you know, I can do it, I have a conscious, or however you think about this. No, you have to do it in a way coming from love, understanding. An element won't abide by you or even interact with you just on the thought of you thinking that you can control it. That's very egotistical, and you know, just you as a person, you as a being, you don't want to be controlled, so why would they? You have to form bonds with the elements within your own body to be able to even communicate with your outside body, which is all this, everything around you. This is your outside body, this is your external world, and this is your internal world. And yeah, I had thought about it, and I'm like, no wonder why we can interact with elements, because we're fully bending all of the elements inside of us. And it made so much sense to me, and I hope I'm explaining this to where you guys understand what I'm saying. But it just made a lot of sense to me, and especially with the fire and the electricity part, I'm like, that makes so much sense. It's no wonder why even after all these centuries, after all these millennia, the commanding of elements has never been forgotten, because we are the elements. I mean, all of us. When I say we, I mean collectively as a people, we have practiced the alchemy, the understanding, the harmony of commanding elements. We're attracted to them naturally, just because that's what we are. That's what our foundation of our existence is. All these elements, we use every single atom, life form, or force gets combined into this vessel. Like when you're in your mother's womb and she eats, she's eating all the properties of the world. So when she eats, that gets stored inside of your cells, that gets stored inside of your DNA, and it becomes a part of you. Everything you consume, everything you see, no matter if it's visually, verbally, subconsciously, that all gets recorded inside of your body and becomes a part of you. So it just opened up a lot of doors for me when it comes to these elements. And since I practice a lot with the elements, it's only brought me to a more higher understanding of how I can connect with them and how I can speak with them. And most of the time that's just through meditation. I also fire gaze a lot. Your third eye feeds on light. That helps activate your third eye as well, is feeding on light. The sun or fire can do that for you, as well as the moonlight, to activate, you know, the psyche part of you. But yeah, I've seen it work, I've seen it done, but it's up to you whether or not you believe in the elements, whether or not you believe in yourself. Because most of the time when people try to command elements, they always say, oh, it's not real, you can't do that. And it's just like, you can't do it because you already got it in your mind that you can't do it. So why would the element even waste time interacting with you if they know you are not a believer? That's just facts. Energy understands energy. And those elements understand that your energy, your vibration isn't high enough to where you can't even understand them. You don't even know what they're saying. They do speak. Elements do speak, but you have to come to a certain amount of stillness to be able to hear the quiet voices, the quiet whispers of nature. You have to sit down and practice that stillness. And the reason why most of the time we can't, I know I'm branching off to a different topic, but it's important as well. But the most of the time we can't command these elements is because we have so many worldly distractions inside of our mind, let alone outside of ourselves, you know? So when we have all these worries, all these things, these distractions running around in and outside of us, it makes it hard to find stillness, quietness within your own state of being, because you have all these other things that you're worried about, you're attached to, or you know, that you're just so focused on that you can't bring that consciousness inside. It's steady just focusing and projecting itself in so many different directions, you know? Your mind is just on so many different topics that you can't even sit down and just even think of having silence for yourself, you know? This is why I say you have to practice the meditation. You have to practice being still. Being still just means being in a space where you're uninterrupted, being in a space where you're aware of everything around you, while also being aware of everything inside of you. And this can be achieved through meditation. If you cannot meditate, listen to frequencies while you sleep. Most of your healing can be done while you're asleep. Most of your spiritual growth can be done while you are asleep. Just because you're asleep doesn't mean that you're not conscious. Your brain is in a certain frequency when you sleep. I think they call it REM or theta. It might be one of those. You got to look into it. I forgot, but it's in this certain frequency that even though when you're asleep, your mind still processes information. No matter what it hears, it still stores that inside of your brain, inside of your subconscious. So while listening to frequencies and meditations while you are asleep will help store those frequencies, that data, into your body, and then those frequencies will eventually work themselves through different areas of your life that requires that frequency. So if you're, for example, let's say you're trying to work on opening your heart chakra, and you're listening to a lot of meditations that have something to do with positivity or high vibration, or opening up the chakra, or healing the chakra, the heart chakra, you'll notice that after a while, I would say about a month, in about a month, you'll feel lighter. Your heart space will feel more balanced. You will definitely feel like you're at more peace. You have more peace within your own being, and you can process your emotions a lot easier without being ashamed or disregarding them in any kind of way, you know? So this all just takes practice. Learning to command elements takes practice. You just don't get it after one day or even a couple months, you know? It's different for everybody. Some people are more advanced than others. Some people are naturally just in tune more with specific things, especially in areas like the elements. Some people just intuit. It could be based off your bloodline. Like your bloodline could be very interconnected with Kai, the planet Earth. It could be very interconnected with her, that you're spiritually, you haven't forgotten that bond, no matter if you remember it or not. This is something that you're naturally in tune with. And people, you know, people come with gifts. People come with qualities that separate us or individualize us from others, you know? So if you don't get it in a certain amount of time, or you can't command or hear or, you know, understand or feel an element, don't worry, okay? This takes patience and time. Also, do your own research about how you can connect to these elements, okay? And most of the time, connecting to elements is all about how you feel. For example, like when you're running, you feel this burning passion. There's this burning intensity that starts from your gut, the primal state of you, and it rises and it burns throughout your skin. So remembering certain things like that within your body can help you connect more with the elements. By attaching that burning sensation you feel when you run to the element of fire can help you visualize and connect more with the fire. And yes, these elemental beings are very much conscious, very much alive. But it matters on your state of mind whether or not you're able to process that, okay? So do not worry if you don't get it, okay? It just takes time, okay? Just be patient. It will come to you, but you also need to be practicing. You need to practice frequently, okay? Whenever you have time, just sit down for about 10 to 20 minutes, give or take, and introduce yourself to these elements. Introduce yourself to these elements. Make your introduction. Let them know that your name, so they can get used to your energy, because a lot of the time the elements, they're very subtle entities, very subtle. They don't feel the need to always present themselves, because they are as they are. You see them as they are. And something as powerful as nature never needs to prove anything to anybody, because when it comes time to put things in its place, nature already has it. So it's no need to they don't feel the need to validate themselves basically to you. It's all about you having to prove to them why you deserve the interaction with them, you know. And it's not to say that, oh, nature has this ego or anything. No, nature is very much a humble being, a humble consciousness. It's just that it requires more time. You have to earn this connection, just like you would with a person. You have to earn that connection with nature as well. A lot of us have lost our connection with nature, and we must rebuild it, especially for those that are not involved in nature, that don't go out in nature, that don't even touch the grass. You have to rebuild that sense of belonging back to nature, okay? But that is all I have for you guys, and I hope this video helped you understand the elements. And let me know if you guys are practicing. Let me know how this video helped out. Let me know if this video needs a part 2 or anything like that. But be sure to like, share, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Thank you.